I'm an Indian prince, bro.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's how we do it.
And Abhi is what we call a fancy lad. So what is the fancy lad drinking?
I'm already getting anxiety that I'm going to have to take, like, Zoloft for, right? Because I'm going to be depressed because somebody else
More
is selling me
Zoloft.
something. Yeah.
This is my goddamn show, Abhi.
All right. If you're not focused on building wealth long term, you're failing the game.
You got all these other shows where people are flipping and dipping and diving and sliding. And
My favorite is the guy that's wearing the $10,000 suit that's standing in front of a Ferrari that's not his, with like a beautiful woman on each arm with like loads of cash. What are you doing? Stop this madness.
Welcome to Business and Bourbon, where we have real talk with real people. I'm Ronell Richards, the creator and your host. You know, everyone listening to this podcast should be focused on wealth building strategies. Regardless of the position you are in your career and your life, you need to be focused on the future. What am I putting away? What am I investing in? What am I doing to create wealth for myself and my family? You know, it seems to me that it looks like everyone out there is making a killing at real estate, right? We've got channels that are dedicated to this. They're all flipping houses and seemingly making a killing off of it. But how real is that? Well, I invited Abhi Golhar onto my show. And Abhi he's world renowned for his expertise in investing and in real estate. I wanted to pose that question to him. How real is this? What are some strategies that all of us can employ, all of us can use to build wealth? And we had a lot of fun talking about a whole bunch of other things that you guys will enjoy as well, in a way that only Business and Bourbon can do. So, with that said, it's time to get this party started. I want you guys to go ahead and grab that cup, grab that glass, grab that mug, whatever it is you like to drink out of, pour your beverage in there, sit down, pull up a chair, let's have a little fun and enjoy a little Business and Bourbon. All right, welcome back to Business and Bourbon, where we have real talk with real people. And I have one of the realest people that I know in here today. Again, as you guys know, I'm at King and Duke here in the heart of Buckhead, the heart of Atlanta, where, deals are going on around me. I look behind me and there's beautiful people always here, and they're having great drinks. They're clinking up glasses and having a good time and closing deals. This is what I like to be around. It's a lot of fun, a lot of great energy. So with that said, look, this guy needs no build-up, and you'll understand why when we get into this. I have invited Mr. Abhi Golhar to the podcast today, and he's going to rip it up. I'm telling you right now.
We'll see. We'll give it a shot.
He's a pro. He's a pro. So, you know, Abhi hosts like 15 shows, and he's super
all before 4:30 in the morning, though.
for the 4:30 a.m. audience.
Right.
Abhi, welcome to the show.
Hey,
let's clink it up.
clink it up. Cheers, man.
All right. So we always start the show with talking about what it is that we are drinking, and Abhi is what we call a fancy lad. So what is the fancy lad drinking?
I think the term that you're trying to use, Ronell Richards, is a fancy lad.
Yes, fancy lad.
I don't really know what that means, really. It's a vieux carré.
All right.
It's a vieux carré. Really, it is just one of those super smooth bourbon drinks. And I was going to go with my like regular Vesper martini. Mm-hmm. And then I thought about the old fashioned.
Shaken, not stirred?
Of course.
Okay.
Duh. And then I was thinking the old fashioned, maybe the Manhattan. But you know what? Let's stick with the classics. A nice vieux carré.
Nice. Well, it's a beautiful drink.
It's incredible, and you like try it a little bit. You want to try it? Feel free. It's really, really good.
Hell yeah! Don't ask me twice. All right, what do we got here?
It's incredible. I mean, it's so.
This doesn't
smooth.
translate so great to radio, dude. So, but
no, I don't know about that. Yeah, no, for sure, but it's good.
Whoa!
Right?
Tasty.
Yes.
Very nice. And I am drinking a.
Thank you.
Belvedere R. Is that what I'm doing? Belvedere. Belvedere.
DA something. I think
yeah,
that's what it's called.
Yeah, it's great though.
Yeah, and the Campari, the bitterness of the Campari on the back is incredible.
Yeah, so we got a little Campari in there, a little bourbon in there. Very tasty drink. I'm enjoying it very much.
Nice mixture.
And want to thank our bartender because he's all. I mean, they always.
Yo, they're stellar.
They make great.
I mean,
you've been here a ton of times, right? Yeah.
You talk about a scratch bar in Buckhead. where the bartenders know what they're doing. They can describe the drinks.
Mm-hmm.
They can describe the drinks. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah.
I'm trying to like sit back, but I guess I can't do that really, can I?
No, get up on that mic.
Hey,
All
there
right,
you go.
So listen, let's start off by, we want to give people a little bit of context.
All right.
Here in Atlanta, you're a freaking superstar, okay? But
know.
and beyond. I mean, every
Find
time I
out.
talk to
Still
this
figuring it
guy,
out.
he's in Bangladesh and China and I think Juneau, Alaska. I don't know. He's all over the damn place. Tell the audience what you do.
Really, I just sell iced Eskimos. That's really the name of the game for me. I'm the host of Think Realty Radio, and if you're interested in real estate investing, you should listen to that show. It's an incredible show. We have amazing guests from around the country, influencers, experts, on how to grow your wealth with real estate. So you want to check that out, go to thinkrealtyradio.com. I have a morning show here in Atlanta called the Abhi Golhar Show on Biz 1190. We talk about how to grow your business, how to succeed in business, how to use the right tech and tools to identify some of the metrics you should be paying attention to when building what I think should be a legacy business. You know, there are a lot of folks that think, well, I'm just going to build for the next 5 or 10 years. No. You should be thinking about, how is my company that I'm building right now going to stick around for 100 or 150 or 200 years after you are dead? So that's a really big key kind of component in my discussions with business owners, entrepreneurs, and of course investors through and through. So I run a little fund here in Atlanta called Summit and Crown. We invest in real estate opportunities, specifically multifamily apartment complexes in the Southeast United States, and we're always looking for great people to work with. So thanks for having me on the show. It's going to be fun.
You know what I heard in all of that? A guy that can give me a loan. What?
I did bring my checkbook here somewhere.
Well, I do have a couple of business plans over here in my backpack. I'm going to pull them out, and maybe we can sit down after this and see. Okay,
let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Thanks
for the T-shirt, by the way. This is so cool,
isn't it? So tell the audience what does it say?
NMEP. It says no more entrepreneur porn.
Yes.
Where'd you get the idea for this? What does that mean?
So what that is all about is, we are inundated with all of this just bullshit out there, right? And all of these visuals that romanticize what entrepreneurship is. And so what we like to do is really, and that's what the show's all about. We want to I bring successful, awesome people in like you. Like when you step on the show, first of all, everyone that's on the show and everyone that hops on this mic has had success. We don't want to talk about that. We want to talk about the journey. We want to talk about the struggle. We want to give people a realistic perception of what entrepreneurship and what being a business professional is today. It's not just the fancy cars and the $4,000 suits that Abhi Golhar is wearing. Right
I like how you're looking at me. Actually sitting down here with a suit on, it's a little uncomfortable, quite frankly.
See? And meanwhile, I'm over here in T-shirts and what? Hold on, Abhi.
That's
what hat am I wearing? Did you notice that?
I didn't. It's not relevant.
It's not relevant?
Nope.
So, guys, little context here. Mr. Golhar,
I got this.
What university did you attend?
Right here.
What is it? I can't read it.
Of course you can't.
What is it?
Of course you can't. It's the greatest university in the whole wide world, where we don't have to emphasize the in front of it because it was naturally part of the name of the university to begin with.
Okay. All right. So he hails from the University of Michigan. And for folks that follow me out there, that I am a proud native of the great state of Ohio, and a lover of the Ohio State
that doesn't even make any
Buckeyes.
Sense. That makes no sense. I think it's the grammatically speaking. And it's okay to be wrong, too. I completely understand where you're coming from with all this.
We're going to have to disagree on that.
That's okay. We're allowed to.
You're a smart guy, and you've got some great fashion sense, but your choices in universities aren't very good.
You know what I love about this country is that everybody's allowed to have an opinion.
Yeah, and some of ours are right. All right, so I got a question for you, because when we have people come on, I always like to talk about, I want to know what your favorite spirit is, and I'm sure it's going to be something that I can barely pronounce because it's so fancy and probably comes from. And I thought I was fancy, but this guy.
I'm known to be a little bougie every now and then. So I love bourbon. I love bourbon.
That's why we're friends.
Yes, and just
Not the schools, it's the bourbon.
Yes, it's the bourbon, and it goes well with everything. One of my favorite drinks during the summertime is Vesper Martini, and if you don't know a whole lot about that drink, look up James Bond and Vesper, and you'll find out exactly what I mean. It tastes like a crisp Christmas morning in the summertime, and it's incredible. It's such a good drink. But I like the classics. Vesper isn't necessarily a classic. It's a twist on the classic, but like an old-fashioned, a Manhattan, a Vieux Carré. These are just clean, great drinks.
You know what? I love that. And I think that's something for our audience as well to kind of take note. Because there's a lot of millennials, a lot of younger folks that listen to the Business and Bourbon podcast, that come to the events, that watch the web series. And one of the things that I like to make sure that I'm educating people about is quality. Whether it's quality in their business, there's quality. Focus on the quality. So what I appreciate about what you just said, Abhi, is that the things that that really vibe with you, and the things that you really focus on are things that are high quality. Here's the thing about the quality stuff, guys, is it stands the test of time.
That's right.
Right? Like this $4,000 tailored suit that Abhi's wearing here next to me. He'll be able to wear this thing 20 years from now, and it'll still look dope. I don't know where you're getting
these numbers, but I will give you an example, right? Like if you go to Zara and you go buy their shoes, right? Like there'll be $40 shoes on sale versus Allen Edmonds, where you're going to pay $350 for a pair.
Yes.
Go to Allen Edmonds because you're going to have to replace your Zara shoes every 3 months.
Guys,
Allen Edmonds.
I have shoes.
You know what I mean?
We've got Josh over here kicking it with us today, and he's taking a video of today's podcast, and I have shoes that are older than him. Like I do. And here's the thing about a nice quality pair of shoes. Spend a shitload of money on them, but all you do, you just resole them, and they're good to go. They look beautiful. Take good care of them, and they will last a lifetime.
That's right. By the way, your Business and Bourbon event was awesome. Congratulations on putting that together. That was great. I was over at the St. Cecilia. You got some bourbon tasting. You had a lot of folks come out. It was a great show.
I appreciate that. Yeah. And for those that don't know, we are touring. We're worldwide. That's worldwide. Right. So we're touring in the U.S. and beyond.
Where are you going now? I think next is Boise, Idaho or something?
Well, it depends on what time people... Boise. Hey, nothing against Boise. Look, Boise, I will come to you. Boise, if y'all want to come out to see your boy, I will be in Boise.
Yes.
But no, our next show, depending on when you're listening to this podcast...
All right.
Because it could have been the show that was 6 months ago, or I don't know. But
yeah, it's a good point.
Our next show up is beautiful, picturesque Missoula, Montana, and we're going to shut it down up there.
Missoula, Montana.
Missoula has
How'd you pick Missoula, Montana?
You know what? Because Missoula has a great culture up there. They've got that's where the University of Montana is.
Yeah.
They've got just a great beer and wine culture, and they've got a lot of entrepreneurs out there, man. A lot of folks that are that I vibe with. And so they said, hey, Ronell, we want you. So I said, y'all going to buy enough tickets. And they said,
let's make this happen, of course.
Let's go. Yeah. So we're going. And it's as simple as that.
That's really neat.
And then we've got a bunch of other cities. So enough about that and about me. It's back to you, because I find...
I'm not good at being interviewed, by the way, just so you know. I do the interviewing the majority of the time, okay?
And that's why we're like fighting interviewers right here. Like
we are. It's so true.
It's like, so I am interviewing, then you interview me, then you interview me. We're going back and forth. But this is my goddamn show, Abhi.
All right. So
I'm going to have to suck it up for a little while. Full disclosure, I have done Abhi's show, and he is amazing and a fantastic host. And... he let me just gush over my Ohio State Buckeyes, and
I remember
that was awesome.
I played the Michigan Fight song, and you absolutely hated that. And now I get the Ohio State hat.
I thought about doing that to you, but you know what? At Ohio State, we have just a little more class, just a little bit more class.
I think that comes with the word "the."
All right, so Abhi, it's time for some real talk, man. This is what we do. People listen to Business and Bourbon because they want real talk with real people. And so, all right, you're a successful guy that wears $10,000 suits. We've established that.
How are we coming up with stuff? First it was 3, then it was 4, then it was 10.
Up, bro. It keeps going up.
Man, I kind of like the prices of real estate in Atlanta right now.
Yeah. Well, hey, one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on is because you've done really well in the real estate game, and you're known for that. And so I wanted to first, because a lot of people want to get into real estate. A lot of folks out there either want to dabble in it or they wanted to get into it full time. At our last Business and Bourbon event, which, by the way, thank you very much for participating in that.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
You had some great advice in terms of like the type of markets where you feel there's opportunity, and I think it's something that our audience nationwide, worldwide, because we're worldwide, baby, our worldwide audience could benefit from. Why don't you share?
So, a lot of, boy, that's a load. I mean,
it is. So let's break it down.
Okay,
because
let's break it down.
You talked about some real basic concepts in terms, because I think people, especially when you're in larger markets, you look at, okay, well, there's this big development going. Let me go try to invest in there. And you had a strategy about tier 2, tier 3 markets that I thought was pretty cool.
So there are a couple of things. I'll say, first and foremost, you want to figure out the type of investor that you are, your risk personality, your risk tolerance, your investing personality. These are things that you should identify in the very beginning. Otherwise, you're going to have other people tell you what to invest in. And believe me, these people, most of the time, don't have your best interests at heart. So if you don't feel comfortable with what they're saying, but also want to take advantage of the opportunity, and all of a sudden you're forced into doing something that you don't want to do, you see what I'm already getting anxiety.
Yeah.
That I'm going to have to take like Zoloft for, right? Because I'm going to be depressed because somebody else is selling me something. Yeah, more Zoloft. Exactly. So first things first, understand your risk tolerance and understand your investing personality. The second thing, the secondary and tertiary markets that I was talking about, whenever your primary markets heat up, you have Atlanta, for example, you got DC. When you think big markets, that's a primary market. Chicago, Miami, Dallas, San Francisco, LA, Seattle. These are big markets. And generally, with big markets, you should think, well, maybe there's a lot of opportunity. But what if that opportunity is saturated with people that are already there, that already have a foothold?
Yeah.
Where do you go next? Well, you're going to go to a secondary market. Secondary market's a little outside of your primary market. It is a little smaller, probably has 10 to 15 years to catch up to your primary market, but you can buy property at a discount. You can buy property at lower prices. To give you an example of this, in Atlanta, if you wanted to purchase a property in 2013 in Kirkwood, you could do so for $75,000, $80,000. Today, no way.
Yeah.
No way. I mean, you're looking at the same property for $185,000, $200,000, and that's over a 5-6 year time frame. Where did the appreciation go, right? It has nothing to do with that anymore. So look at markets like Montgomery, Alabama, Chattanooga, Tennessee, Greenville, South Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina. These are markets that still have opportunities where people aren't going to go to necessarily in droves because they're all sticking and clinging to the big market with the big profit numbers. Do you know that the first price ranges of homes to get really saturated in the flipping world were those that were priced between $600,000 and on up. So $600,000, $700,000, $800,000. Right now, there are major challenges with first-time home buyers finding properties under $200,000.
Wow.
So you talk about, if you're looking at a primary market and you're looking at where's the opportunity right now?
Tremendous opportunity, yeah.
Your first-time home buyer between $125,000 and $200,000, $250,000-ish if you're in Atlanta. If you're in Alabama or Chattanooga, Tennessee, I mean, $75,000, $85,000, $90,000. So anyway, you take a look at primary, secondary, tertiary markets. That's how you do it.
I love that strategy because I think that, we talk a lot on our show about entrepreneur porn, right? And I think that people in the real estate world have that same thing, except it's on 10 right now with the real estate porn. You got Property Brothers, you got all these other shows where people are flipping and dipping and diving and sliding and
my favorite is the guy that's wearing the $10,000 suit that's standing in front of a Ferrari that's not his, with like a beautiful woman on each arm with like just loads of cash, And it's like, what are you doing? No, stop this madness. This is not how real estate investing is. And quite frankly, this is also not what entrepreneurship is.
Yeah.
Right? So follow your gut, follow your instinct, and you can call BS when you see it on the spot.
I think you use your gut and know that, for one, it's the long game. It's the long game. Like,
yeah, that's right.
The fast, quick money. Are there opportunities in this world to make fast, quick money? Sure they are. But if you're trying to establish wealth, it's never about the short-term stuff. It's about the long-term investment. And I think that, and correct me if I'm wrong, Abhi, but in the real estate world, that's kind of where you need to be focused on, right?
If you're not focused on building wealth long-term, you're failing the game. I mean, we've been shooting film all day today, and that is the one message I'm constantly echoing, right? It is the long-term situation that you got to be paying attention to. It's not enough just to say, I'm going to flip property and flip property and flip property, to use real estate as an example, because what you're doing is you're taking the asset of real estate, the single-family house that you're going to flip. During the flipping process, you're putting it on your balance sheet, and then for a profit, you're taking it off your balance sheet. Guess what's not happening? It's not staying on your balance sheet. Mm-hmm. So you're losing the wealth building game. You're losing the cash flow game. But you might be thinking, well, hey, I have an extra $30,000 after my flip come in. Well, let me break that down for you. That $30,000 is probably going to take 6 to 8 months to make. If you take $30,000 and divide by 6, or if you take $30,000 and divide by 8, you're looking at maybe $4,000 a month. Mm-hmm. You can go find a consulting gig, a remote consulting gig, and you can make twice that in less time. Why even flip?
There it is.
That doesn't make any sense.
And that $30,000, well, that's not all your money.
No. The government's going to tax you on that all day.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That's capital gains there.
Your uncle's about to show up. Say, where's mine? So it doesn't really work that way. You know, you better reinvest it quick.
That's why the long-term thing makes sense, right?
Yes,
so if you
agree.
are flipping, I'm not opposed to flipping, but what I am saying is if you are flipping, you got your $30,000 margin, pay the taxes, and then take the rest and invest it in a single-family rental or a duplex or a tri or a quad, or if you're like an accredited investor, let's talk about possibly investing it into a multifamily deal that you can legitimately say makes sense.
So I agree, because, you know, I've seen... This is not a new phenomenon, okay, guys? It's not new. You're watching the all the networks, the home, whatever, the building. I don't watch that shit, but the home building network and Vanilla Ice. You're watching Vanilla Ice.
I interviewed
what
him.
What the hell is
that? Was so
you
funny.
may have interviewed him, but like, and I'm sure he's legit.
Like so
he's legit in that world, but. We're taking advice from Vanilla Ice. It's hilarious. Okay, I get it. Like he's established, done his thing, whatever. Right. But like, that's Ice baby. That's hilarious to me.
That's
all that said. I think that this is nothing new. This has been going on for forever. And when I was a kid, my parents were in real estate as well, and they flipped some houses and all that sort of thing. But one thing I learned about that is that. Yeah, you really have to take that money and make it work for you. I think people that are looking at that as a means of, hey, a quick come up that they can spend that money on something else, I think is a flawed strategy. Like, you go ahead, if you've got an opportunity to flip something, flip the hell out of it. Take that money and put it in something that's going to make you more money so that you're building wealth, right?
I mistakenly said something, I think the last time, Josh, we were filming, and it's money while you sleep. Sleeping while you money. Oh, sleeping
Josh
while you money.
Doesn't have a mic, Abhi. You're a professional. What are you doing?
Sleeping while you money. So, I thought about that, sleeping while you money, only because he would know, and I forgot. Sleeping while you money. Isn't that a very interesting concept?
Do tell.
So, let's say you flip property, right? Like staying on that same thought process. If you buy property for $100, you renovate it for $50, you sell it for $200,000. Your margin there is $50,000. Post taxes, you're looking at what, $35,000, right? You want to money while you sleep. You want to make money while you're sleeping. And at the end of the day, if I am investing this post-tax capital gains that I have, right, from this flipping operation that I got going on here in the ATL or wherever it might be, and now buying a single-family rental that's going to give me $300 a month, $400 a month, if I'm managing it well, in my pocket, and I don't have to pay for it, and if I can do that 10 times over, let's just take a conservative approach. Let's say I make $250 a month off of each rental that I own, and over the next 10 years, I'm buying one rental a year. That's 10 rentals times $200 per rental. That's $2,000 a month in income that I no longer have to work for. And that's over a 10-year time frame. If you want to be aggressive, Ronell, I mean, geez, come on. Let's rock and roll. I mean, I guarantee if you commit your mind to something, you'll make it happen, right? You can go more than 10 over a 10-year time frame.
Why not?
Yeah.
So, next question. I ask Abhi what scares him, and Abhi says poisonous snakes.
And then I realized it was a business question.
He says poisonous snakes. Abhi, like, listen, this is business and bourbon.
This is what I thought. I mean, I was
this is not the Atlanta Zoo Chronicles. Like, what? So okay, listen.
Okay.
We know that. Hey, you're a successful guy. You've had success. Okay, that's cool. Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
I want to know, like, let's talk about something that was a challenge for you, something that was a struggle for you, something that, you know, and all of the thing about real estate or any business is that while you have great wins, you have to fail. And,
that's right.
And which is another thing that I respect about you, you know, and I believe you said that the advice you'd give to your younger self is that you wanted to fail more.
That's right.
Fail faster.
Yep.
Right?
Fail
Speak
often,
to that.
fail fast, fail now. 100%.
Speak to that. First of all, give the audience some real dope, man.
Yeah. So one thing that I am scared about outside of the poisonous snakes thing, which I am terrified of poisonous snakes, I will say that...
Who isn't? That's like...
it's kind of a really obvious kind of...
It's very obvious.
Response, I guess.
No, I love anacondas. I love diamondback rattlers. I don't know all the
some
snake
poisonous
names,
frogs too.
I'm
I think
scared
something
of
like that.
Snakes.
Yeah, no,
all poisonous or not, they scare the hell out of me.
Yeah, I'm not doing any of that stuff either. So look at that. We have more in common than just a hatred for each other's teams. So I'll say this. My biggest fear, what keeps me up at night, is that millennials and Gen Z? That's younger than us?
Yes,
Gen Z?
Gen Z.
We are not aggressive enough in building wealth for the future. We take a look at Social Security, right? Social Security is the foundation of this country. Do I think it's going to go anywhere? Do I think that they'll make the necessary adjustments to have it be there when I retire? Sure. Will it be there in the same format? No. Should I expect it to be there when I retire? No. By 2033, Social Security needs to be cut by 23%. Let's rethink that for a second. That means there are millions of people that will not get their benefits here. And every year for the next...
What does that mean to you?
That means nothing to me. But what it means is for every millennial that's listening to this, for every parent of the millennials that's listening to this, for anybody listening to this, you have to take charge of your own financial situation. Because the government's not going to help you. It's not that they don't care. It's that they're not you. Right? You're not going to take care of... Nobody else is going to take care of your stuff as well as you can take care of your own stuff.
So what should millennials and Gen Z be doing?
Two things. Number one, save up for a rainy day fund. You need that. You need a rainy day fund. And that's going to be your monthly expenses times 6 months. If there's one thing Susie Orman and I have in common, we believe in a rainy day emergency fund that we can always tap into if we need to. Number two, if you've just graduated and you've started a new job, take a big chunk, not a small chunk, a large chunk. I'm talking 40, 50, 60% of your paycheck and invest it.
Okay, that sounds all well and nice, Abhi. I mean, yeah, but let's get down to some realistic things that people can do, like, because, you know, I think that the really, really smart people that are in tune with finances and don't care about a lot of other shit, they're going to do that sort of thing, right?
Sure.
But the majority of our audience is not. You know that. I know that, right? Yeah. We've got we got to keep up with Kylie Jenner. What is Kylie Jenner doing? What is what are all the other celebrities and people that we're following on Instagram daily? What are they doing? What kind of cars are they driving? Like, this is the reality of our lives. So there's a lot of distractions. So I feel like that the expectation of that much of someone's income, I just don't think the vast majority of people are going to do that. So what should they be doing at a minimum. Let's give them some strategies that they can, at a minimum, implement that are going to help them to start down that road.
So I would say you need to get there, right? You have to get there because income is your biggest wealth driver. The more that you have to invest, the quicker you're going to get to whatever figure it is that you want. That's number one. Number two, if your company offers a 401k, invest in it. Make that match happen. Number three, if you have a Roth IRA, if you would like to start a Roth IRA or have already done so, congratulations. If you haven't started a Roth IRA, do it. Every year, you can invest $6,000.
What's a Roth IRA? What? What is a Roth? I'm joking because I listen.
There you go.
We got to take this down to a very basic level because
that's right.
This whole business and bourbon thing is about educating the tribe, man.
Yeah, you got
and
it.
So, some things that we, with all of our experience, take as second nature, they just don't know.
For sure.
What is that?
So it's one of the fundamental basis for wealth building. A Roth IRA is, very simply put, a vehicle that you can use to invest after tax dollars. So you've already paid taxes on the money that you're putting into this account. Think of it as like your bank account. But it's not your bank account, but think about it like a bank account for a second. If you invest $6,000 every single year into your bank account, and your bank account, say over time, over a 10-year period, grows, and now by the time you reach retirement, you want to withdraw what's in your bank account, all of that money, 100% of that money is tax-free. You have tax-free growth.
As opposed to your other options like 401k, which are
an absolutely taxable.
Yeah, there we go.
It's a taxable event. It's a taxable investment vehicle. I'm not saying don't invest in 401k. I mean, heck, if you're an entrepreneur and you don't have a solo 401k or some type of SEP IRA plan, I mean, get it.
That's a great point. So as the entrepreneur guy, so that's something that I set up 15, 16, 17 years ago.
Yeah.
When I was introduced to it, a lot of entrepreneurs that are out there, especially like one-man shops, don't realize that there are vehicles that you can take advantage of as an entrepreneur, 401k that you can take advantage of as an entrepreneur. And I would suggest to do that. And my advice to tag on to what Abhi is saying is, I got some great advice many, many years ago when I first started. And after a couple of years of being in business and entrepreneurship and not seeing a goddamn thing, not seeing anything come through, you get 2 years in there and you're like, oh my God, what do I have to show for this?
Yeah.
And I got some great advice. And that advice was, hey, look, every week, take $25 out. $25, and I started to do that. And that $25, so it's not always the dollar amount, but it's the fact that I had something to show 6 months later, 1 year later, and then those numbers just kept increasing to when, by the time I was 8 years in business, what you're talking about, I was literally putting most of my compensation into investment vehicles, right?
Yeah.
Because I had built it to that point. But entrepreneurs, what I want you guys to know is that we can all spare something, and we may feel like we can't, but we can. So whether it's that $25, that $50 just automatically comes out of your account and goes into something else, do that. Because one of the things that we need, I mean, it's a lot of what we do in entrepreneurship is a mental game, right? It's a mental game. This is a way that down the road, 6 months, a year, we have something to show for our efforts, and it's something that gives us just that little bit of mental edge to keep going and keep plugging away. And then as your business gets more successful, you just start plugging more money in there until you've got something really nice.
I mean, at the end of the day, what's the objective of all of this? Right? The objective isn't just to buy a whole lot of stuff and
it's not
sit on stuff.
Shit.
No.
What?
No, it's about creating that impact for the people that you love, for your family, for your kids, for your wife, for your daughter, for your husband, for your significant other.
I thought it was the Lambo with the mirrorized paint. Like for me, I don't know.
Like that matte jet black finish.
The matte jet black
with the cherry
McLaren,
bombs and the stuff and the whatever.
All
and
the families.
Oh, gosh,
screw that.
At the end of the okay, so if you actually drove one of those things, the maintenance on that will just burn hole in your pocket. Anyone. It doesn't even matter.
Okay, guys.
Right.
Full disclosure. 3 Maseratis I've had here before they were like the thing to do.
Right.
Before rappers started making songs about them. And, and then everyone had
That's
to
so
get
true,
one.
actually.
Yes, that's what people don't think about. So there's someone
Yeah.
out there that's listening to this, and they're like, "Oh my God, I just saw a Maserati. I'm gonna get that. That's a good deal in the pre-owned market." What you don't know is that the maintenance is a bitch.
Oh, jeez. I mean, that and gas, insurance.
Yes.
I mean, just your basic stuff. It's just not worth it.
Absolutely.
And you talk to many
Well,
billionaires
I don't know,
and
you get
folks
to
that have
enjoy it
exited.
a little bit. You know,
I mean,
you get
sure
to
you
floss,
did.
floss a little bit.
Right,
but
for like an
I'm
hour.
over flossing though.
Have you driven through traffic in Atlanta? Of course
I
you
know.
have.
Oh
I'm
my
fearful of my life. I hate driving in Atlanta. I don't even drive in Atlanta. I don't even have a car. I can
So-
run on Uber every single day.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Do you not have a car?
I have not owned a car in Atlanta since 2008.
I love this guy.
Yeah. No, I
Okay,
can't stand
listen.
it. I'm not. No, I have to make like a left turn. Who does that? And everything, like, no way. Like, I would much rather sit in the back of my Uber, chill out, like, read an email or be on the phone or
Yeah.
do something, and have somebody else chauffeur me to where I need to go.
You brought New York to Atlanta. I love it.
I'm an Indian prince, bro.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's how we do it up there. Like, that's just, we have drivers, we've got all the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is your way of getting your own
This is-
personal
this is
driver,
kinda-
right?
yeah.
Do you have an Uber guy on like speed dial, like your guy?
I'm working up to that, actually.
Okay.
I want to get, like, a car and a proper dude or gal.
I'm
But, like,
kind of a
I think
Lyft
it's-
guy.
I mean,
I'm kind of a Lyft guy.
so very recently, I am a little annoyed with Lyft because they're making me wait like 15 minutes in the morning that I don't have. Uber is there in 4 minutes. So I'm like, all right, you know what? I'll pay the premium. Let's do it.
yeah.
But then I'll keep switching back and forth. I don't really have a loyalty.
No loyalties, huh?
No, not there.
Uber, get to work.
Hey, there you go.
That's what I'm saying. You know, loyalties, that's not good.
That's right.
All right, so question.
Answer.
I like that. So getting back to your advice to your younger self,
Okay.
yours was fail faster. Talk to me about that. What does that mean?
So if you're making mistakes as a kid, you want to keep making those mistakes. But you also want to learn from your mistakes. It's hard sometimes to repeat the same mistake or to not repeat the same mistake a couple of times. But even if you do, if you average it out, you're making mistakes and you're learning from them. I wish I'd done more of that. Not when I was a kid, because as kids, we don't really like see that. But when I was in my teenage years, building my first company, and then when I went to college, I wish I networked more, failed there.
I'm sorry. Rewind. What did you say in your teen? What are you, Doogie Howser? What do you like? I got Doogie.
No, so do you
When I was in
remember-
the teenage years building my first business. You just kind of skipped
glossed
over that.
I
Yeah.
was hoping we could talk about that at some point. So let me finish this. So
Okay.
I would say if you're a new business, this doesn't necessarily only apply to those folks that are young in age now, but it also applies to those that are young in business. You don't know what works until you know what doesn't work.
Yeah.
So try
True.
stuff that's not, like, try stuff that's going to make you angry, upset, mad, frustrated, because then you know at least you're breaking a system and you can do something about that. If you have way too much success in the beginning and then you start failing, you don't really necessarily know how to deal with failure. And that's a very hard, very difficult concept to grasp if all you've seen your entire life was success. So when I was a kid, this was in the 9th grade. You remember when, like, computers were like this big? You got Gateway and Dell and all these, like, different Mac computers. We went around, we were like a what are they called? Pre-Geek Squad.
Yeah.
So here I was as a kid in the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade with my childhood friend Matthew Carroll. We started a company called Max Technologies. M for Matthew, A for Abhi, X for X Factor Technologies, Max Technologies. And we used to knock on doors
Yeah.
in our neighborhood and sell these just like computer repair services. Whether it's replacing hardware, we used to make runs. We used to really, like, we were young, we couldn't drive.
Yeah.
So mom and dad used to drive us to the computer parts store. We used to pick up parts and bring them back. It was hilarious. We had this entire thing going. And we also used to repair software issues. Back then it was like Windows 3.1, 95, 98, SE, ME, NT, all that stuff, right? You remember these things.
Yes.
And we got so good at it to where we're like, hey, you know what? We need to expand our marketing efforts. Let's put flyers in mailboxes, and then come to find out later that's illegal. Like, don't do that. If that's your primary method of marketing, you're not allowed to.
It's illegal, but
it is.
I mean, you're a bunch
they're
of
not
kids.
really
enforcing that.
Exactly. I mean, I got myself some street cred by doing that. I'm totally kidding. And not going to jail, doesn't that really kind of count? So we had built up the marketing, and back then I learned how to deal with customers, how to face rejection when the door slammed in my face. I had some clients that weren't happy with the services that we provided, and I had to make it right. Mm-hmm. So we did this over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And there were times, man, like we were charging $25 an hour in 1999, raking it in my little neighborhood of Portage, Michigan, where the census data, if you look at Texas Township.
Shout out to Portage.
Yeah, shout out to Portage, Michigan. And if you look at the census data, the population census data of Texas Township, where I lived in the 90s, there were like 25 or 30,000 people that lived in my township that entire decade. Mm. If I can make it work in a small town of nowhere land, in a time before technology, at $25 an hour in the 9th grade, I don't even know how old I was in the 9th grade. What is that?
That's so like
20 years,
14?
14, yeah, that's right, 20 years. Yeah, at 14.
I have a 10th grader, so I know.
So there you go. You can do the math a lot quicker than I can. I mean, and you went to the Ohio State.
Well, the Ohio State is known for. Matter of fact,
it is actually one of
you grew up in Michigan too.
Yeah.
Man,
I'm through and through Lions fan, which is very disappointing.
Yeah,
there's
a lot of things disappointing. You know what I love? For the record, I love Michigan. I love Detroit. I love you folks. You guys are awesome. Just anyone that, you know.
I mean,
actually, to be honest with you,
I mean,
so if we're being honest,
this is real talk. What I'd love to do is create like
talk.
this little bubble and place it over the city of Columbus, and then there's going to be like folks. There'll be a lot of flatulence, and then folks will just like get a natural high from their own. Like, isn't that? And then like you'll have to pay for ventilation services.
You know, that
would be very interesting, except also really kind of awkward and twisted.
Rings. That's it.
I don't wear rings.
Yep.
I'm not a jewelry guy.
No one from Michigan wears rings.
Tom Brady does.
Okay. All right. Well, you win on that.
There you go.
I love that story about childhood ambition and entrepreneurship, and that's something I like to talk about. I like to talk about that a lot with parents and people that are influencers of kids. Like, encourage kids to go out there and do things. Like,
make mistakes, fail. Like, there was a time when my dad was yelling at me because I had so many people. So I did something. Admittedly, I did something incorrectly. I didn't set up a business phone number. I just gave everybody my mom's house number.
How the hell are you going to set up a business phone number at 14? That is your business phone number.
So my house line, right? And we didn't have cell phones. We had corded phones.
Yes.
So I was at school missing client calls during the day, and my mom and dad they used to
14. That's funny.
And they used to take down all these messages. My dad used to go to work. Yeah. My mom's like, "Here, you have a list of 45 people that called today." She's like,
"Serious?
Are you going to call them after soccer practice, before homework, or after homework, during soccer? Like, when are you going to do this?" I'm like, "I don't know. It's probably going to be like tomorrow." And she's like, "You started a business. You see it through." And I kept getting this earful from my parents, and I'm like, okay, I have to manage this somehow. And there you go. Time management, client management, customer relationship management, all that stuff.
All right. So you were like the Doogie Howser of computers.
The Doogie.
Of Geek Squad Computing.
The Geek Squad Computing, Doogie Howser.
So
20 years later, on the business and bourbon, keeping things awesome and sexy.
It real. So let's keep it real. So we want to know, like, what was your biggest challenge? What you fell at, dude? Because you didn't win at everything. You didn't win it at Abhi.
So I was
You didn't win at everything. What did you fail at?
I was a really fat first grader.
Oh my! Did you go back to first grade?
Yes. No, I failed a lot. Okay, I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, so let's talk about it, because everyone out there, they're failing too.
Fair enough.
I'm failing. I'm failing this interview. God damn it!
You are. No, you're great.
Okay, I'm killing this shit.
Let's just. Of course. Yeah. Naturally, of course. I mean, you know, I'm Ron L. Richards.
Yes.
No, this is.
I wouldn't expect anything otherwise.
Kind of what I do on a daily basis.
That's the deal.
All right.
Radio. We got double radio voice going on here, don't we?
We
radio voice.
We should do VOs together. We should do voiceovers together. I'll do your voice, and you do my voice, and we'll totally
Let's
just
do it.
like
right now.
All right.
Do it. Go.
do it. Go.
Abhi Golhar here, and I have just amazing suits, and I am so cool, and I've got cool glasses and great hair too. And Michigan sucks.
It's actually kind of true, except it's the underwear, not the socks. It's a little M where it counts. That's funny. So no, first grade.
Yeah.
First grade, I was a fat first grader, and I had all this energy, but I couldn't like get it out. And so my first grade teacher had a sit down with my dad and said, "We got to change this stuff." And I love playing soccer. Like I love playing soccer, but I didn't have like the eye-hand coordination, the eye-foot coordination, which was always required. And so we worked at it every single day. The story is important because this wasn't just an overnight transformation for me to going to being a really good, in my kind of league soccer player when I was a kid. It took time, it took energy, it took a lot of crying, it took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, it took a lot of just muscle aches and body pains and hours and hours and hours of practice between the corner kicks and the free throw. I mean, it took time. The one lesson that I learned there was, if I don't keep doing this, if I don't keep practicing, I'm never going to be better at it. So fast forward to my days at Michigan, I was investing in real estate in inner city Detroit while also doing a full load of classes at Michigan Engineering. I got the money to put down on these properties, wholesaling real estate and wholesaling cars. And for those of you listening, if you want to...
Were those legal cars? Just.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's Detroit.
Yeah.
I gotta ask.
No,
it's Detroit.
I mean,
you know.
so for those listening
Love you
that
guys,
want a little tip, you can find cars on Craigslist, and you can put them under contract and sell them on eBay. As long as you do all the right disclosures and stuff, you can make a pretty sizable margin. So I used to do this with like 67 Ford Mustang GT fastbacks, 2+2 with a 289 4-barrel V8 engine on the complete VIN decoder. I can tell you exactly where
that.
each car...
I did not see that coming.
I can tell you anything about a 66, 67, 68, 69 Ford Mustang that you want. Same thing with a 63 Chevy Corvette, Plymouth Cudas, Camaros, anything. Like the hideaway headlights and the RSSS and the differences between the RS and the SS and the RS/SS. I mean, all that stuff.
Abhi, the radio guy, literally just lost half of our audience right with that.
If you weren't born in the 60s, you're not going to get it.
Okay.
But essentially, I went to Craigslist, found stuff, sold it on eBay, made money. Using that money, I purchased investment property in inner city Detroit. One of the challenges that I had, though, was I didn't know how to work with contractors, and I didn't understand how to run teams. And I was lying to myself that everything was being done properly, that everything was okay. I saw a scope of work, and I just signed off on it, not thinking twice. So that got me into trouble, right? Now, all of a sudden, I'm losing money on a house, and I had to wholesale it to another investor. But there was a point in time that I remember distinctly that jarred me to the core. I had finished some classes in Ann Arbor, and I got a call from my contractor, and he said, "Hey, man, I've left a shop vac for you in your property. We're renovating it. You need to go to your property now." And I'm like, "Bro, I'm just finishing up class. It's like 8 o'clock in the evening, and it just started snowing in Ann Arbor." He's like, "It doesn't matter. I got to go pick up my kids. See ya." I'm like, "All right." So he ditched. I jump in my like 92 Honda Civic DX. This was a car.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But it was a car with bald tires. It was like this crappy old, I don't even know what to call it.
Yeah.
I drove to Detroit. By the time I get there, it's like a full-on blizzard. I can't even see the house, right? I pull into the driveway. I think I hit the mailbox on the way in. And I open the front door, and I hear running water.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, crap. Okay, now I know what the shop vac's for. But we're doing this live, and you've met me in person a couple of times. I mean, I'm 5'5" and 120 pounds. Like, I don't do physical hard labor, right? Like, I'm totally your white-collar worker, right? Like, I don't do any hard work.
Yeah.
And so lifting a sledgehammer, I'm not doing it. I'm certainly sure as heck not, like, moving water out of this property. So I do what I do best. I start knocking on doors in inner city Detroit at, like, 10 o'clock at night, and I have the hardest time trying to find somebody to help me out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure there was like
you had probably had a harder time not getting shot.
Yeah. So I heard like a couple times. I'm like, oh, great, right? Like, this is not cool. So, and I'm adding like humor and color to the situation, but it was
I'm
not.
sure it wasn't.
It was like a totally oh crap moment. And so finally, I find a neighbor super kind enough to help me out. But we walked down to, I walked down first to the basement, and I'm like neck deep in water. And it's just flooding. Just the water's rising little by little. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to give this a shot. So we try to move as much water out of the basement as we can. Doesn't work. He goes home at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I go upstairs to the second floor because I remember heat rises, right? I have no bed, no mattress, no pillow, nothing. And I curl up with my good buddy Jack Daniels, and I make it through the night. And I wake up the next morning. I mean, in that moment, I was lost. I was alone. I was losing. I was a failure. I couldn't tell mom and dad what I was doing. None of my peers would pay attention. My brother was looking at me like, what the heck are you doing? My grades were being affected. It was a really, really, really tough time.
Yeah.
I was so backed in the corner, but then I realized, you know what? It's okay, because it can only go up from here. And I wasn't going to give up on this. I had no idea, right? Like, but I knew one thing. I was never going to give up on this dream of being a businessman, whatever that meant, being an investor, whatever that meant, and being successful, whatever that meant. And then I realized, wait a minute, if I'm saying whatever this means in the moment, I haven't defined what success meant to me at all.
You know what you didn't say in all that? You didn't mention money. And I think that's profound.
Yeah.
Because your drive has to be beyond that. It has to be bigger than that. If it's bigger than that and it's beyond that, the money will come with it. I mean,
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, if your sole focus is money, if that's what... every day you're hustling for the dollar, or you're hustling for the gram,
Always be
or
hustling.
whatever. I mean, but if your focus is only money, you're losing out on this entire thing we call life. There are a lot of folks that say time is money. I think that's an insult to time. That is such a slap in the face to time. Because time is so much more than money. So much more than money. Like, if money doesn't matter in comparison to the small, precious moments that I will spend with my kids,
True.
right? Or I spend with my wife, or my family, or my brother, or my friends that I love and care about, or this moment right here that you and I have.
Oh my God!
Right? Like, it's this transcends
You
like
are
the
so
millions
right.
and millions and millions and millions of dollars that you make in an hour. Right?
No.
Like
it
just,
doesn't.
It's just
if someone wants to give me millions of dollars, come on, Abhi. Come on. Listen,
you superficial nerd.
You're a great guy, and I'm
Whatever.
enjoying this. But damn, someone comes and shows up. Hey, right now, I want to give you $100,000 for the next 5 minutes.
You're
like,
outie.
Peace out. Peace, Abhi.
Hey,
I'm out.
you can take over my podcast. You can take over all this equipment.
Josh is here. Josh is going to sit in for me.
Right. Actually,
So-
he's a pretty good interviewer too. Right. Yeah, right. Exactly. We'll tag team it. That's not a problem.
So check this out. There's someone that's out there listening right now, and they're working a corporate job, or they're they're an entrepreneur. They got a little bit of extra cash, and they're like, man, I want to start building for my future, and they want to invest. Like, let's leave those folks with some sound, reasonable investment strategy that they can make today, not next week, not tomorrow, today. What can they do today that will start that domino effect? Because I'm a big believer in, it starts with the small things. You start something small and then you build upon that.
Yep.
What you got for them? Drop a gem on them.
So you're an entrepreneur. You're a business owner. You're somebody listening to this, and I'll address that question in a second. And if you have a little bit of capital, now is not the time to become complacent. It's a great economy. It's a great time to invest. Look at your secondary, tertiary markets. That's all I'm going to say. You got questions for me? I'm sure we'll do contact information in a second. If you're working for somebody, here's your game plan. Hold your head high. Hold your chin up. Know that you're doing everything in your power to take that next step, and that you will do everything in your power to take that next step. It is who you are, and it is the future that you are stepping into already. Don't let anybody else, more specifically, don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. Look at yourself in the mirror every single day and tell yourself, I am powerful beyond measure. I am a beautiful person. I am a wealthy person. I love people. I am loved by people. And that is how I'm going to start and end my day. Hold your chin high, because you've committed to a lifetime of change. You're committed in the moment to changing who you are being. So congratulations. We talk about psychology being 90% of what you got to do to get there, and execution being 10%. That's what you need. So you're already there. Now you just got to make it happen a little bit. The next step that you do is you start saving for your rainy day fund. That's going to be 3 to 6 months times your monthly expenses. Once you have that covered, your 401k, your solo 401k, your SEP IRA, your Roth IRA, your traditional IRA. Look at some of these more traditional investing strategies that make sense and confide in them. Seek counsel of a financial advisor. Ronell and I are on the show are talking about some strategies that are good for some people, but they're also not necessarily good for you if you haven't figured out what you want to do in life yet from an investing bucket, from an investing perspective. So make sure that you seek the right counsel to figure out your risk tolerance, your investing personality, and most importantly, you want to consider real estate investing in your near future. Here's why. The real estate asset class gives you 5 things that no other asset class gives you. It can give you income. If done properly, it can give you income, depreciation, equity, appreciation, and leverage. Now, we don't have time to go into all of those things right now. And maybe Ronell will have me back on the show if y'all give him some awesome raving reviews. But I'll say this. Consider real estate. Take the small steps, and most importantly, believe in yourself, because that's what it's going to take to beat some of the challenges that you don't even know that are coming.
100. All right. Abhi, that was fire. Tell people where they can find you.
Super easy. Go to abhigolhar.com. That's abhigolhar.com. And I recently found out I'm like Google autofill famous. So I don't really know if it's a thing yet. But if you go to like Google and you type in, if you start typing in ABHI, it'll automatically fill my last name. You can do that too and just hit enter and you can get in touch with me. I'm on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Facebook, and we'll even have snippets of this on the gram too. You can follow me anywhere online at Abhi Golhar.
On the gram.
On the gram.
All right. Listen, guys. Hey, Abhi, way to set it off. You know where to find him. That's it. With that,
boom,
we out.
Thank you for listening to the Business and Bourbon podcast. Please subscribe. And if you like us, give us a 5-star rating. If you don't, have another drink. Maybe you'll feel a little bit differently. If you'd like to check out our videos, you can go to businessandbourbon.tv. That's businessandbourbon.tv. In addition to that, we're currently touring the United States with our Business and Bourbon live show. It's a fantastic show where we do a whiskey education and we do some Q&A, and it's a great network as well. So if you'd like to attend one of our Business and Bourbon live events, you can go to businessandbourbon.live. Again, that's businessandbourbon.live.